Good afternoon, boys. So once again we are coming back to the classroom, and today we are really fortunate to start our economics class of social science with the topic development. Yes, common men often say that country is developing, this is a developing country, they are developed countries, but we sometimes do not understand what is developing, what is developed, what is development. Often we think and see that something is growing up and we consider this as development. So in this class actually we are going to learn what is development and what is growth, the difference between development and growth, the different phases of development, development goals, other goals. We will understand the average income, we will understand how the average income is giving a good index of country's development. At the same time, the simultaneous question will arise whether this is enough, this per capita income or average income is enough to understand the development, or some other indices are there by which we can actually understand development. We will understand public facilities, how much it is important, what is Human Development Index, which is published by the United Nations Development Program, UNDP. What is the difference between the definition laid down by World Bank and UNDP? And at the end, we will understand sustainable development. That means the development which will be continued without harming the future generation. So let's start our analysis of development. Development can be defined as the qualitative aspects. What is qualitative aspects? Like the aspects by which we can understand the literacy rate, sex ratio, infant mortality rate, life expectancy at birth, then the equality of life, security of life. These all factors are taken into consideration along with the quantitative aspects. What are the quantitative aspects? That is the growth, that is numerical value. When we understand per capita income, we can see that yes, the country's development can be measured on a particular numerical value, okay, but that is numerical figure. With this we cannot come to the conclusion that the country is developed. So first write it down. Development can be defined as the qualitative aspects like literacy rate, sex ratio, life expectancy at birth, mortality rate, fertility rate, economic equality, security and dignity, along with quantitative aspects like per capita income, gross national income, etc. So development comprises both quantitative and qualitative instruments. Now the question arises whether it is sufficient, because if we see into the statistics, Qatar, a country which is having a high per capita income, but that cannot be considered as a developed country. Why? Because that country lacks so many other facilities which human being must possess. The health indices, the education indices, they are very important, because we know that growth can be determined by sustained rise in per capita income. Only with the per capita income increment we can define that the growth is 6%, growth is 6.8%, like this. But qualitative instruments, what is the sex ratio? What is the literacy rate? We often see from different journals that Kerala is quite ahead, their sex ratio is quite good, their literacy rate is quite high, contrast to Bihar, Punjab. So Punjab's per capita income is quite high, but that is not to be considered as developed state. So, development, the basic thing of development is to have the other factors, the health parameters and the education parameters, along with the quantitative aspect, that is the per capita income. Now, the question arises ki development goals, and here it is written ki development goals are of two types. Different persons have different development goals and different persons have different as well as conflicting goals. Let us understand these two things. Different persons have different development goals. Suppose a girl child who is remained in a village, she wants to have her education in a nearby village primary school, whereas the boy child of that village is willing to get education in a prestigious institution in the urban areas. An entrepreneur may try to have a very big dam without considering the environmental issues, whereas the tribal people who are remained over there, they struggle hard not to leave that place, and they want to have some small check dams so that their livelihood will not be disturbed. So, here we see the two group of people are having different set of goals. Both are development goals, but the two group of people are having different set of expectation from the development. Now, we are coming to the second part. Different persons have different as well as conflicting goals. What is conflicting goals? An entrepreneur, okay, an industrialist would like to take as much land as possible for starting an industry at a very cheaper rate, without understanding, without considering the environmental impact, the livelihood impact of the existing inhabitants of that area, the flora and fauna of that area, etc. His only aim is to grab the land at a very cheaper price to earn and make huge profit. Whereas that development goal is contradictory, conflicting to the interest of the common people, because not only it will reduce or stop their livelihood option, that is creating endanger to different species, endanger to the coming generations. They will leave all their future aspirations. So, here we see it is not only different, yes, two group of people are having two different goals as well as it is conflicting goals. In the first case, while they are going for education, the prime goal was education. Might be it is in the village school or in the urban school. It is different but not conflicting. Both of them has the same opinion to have the education. Clear? So, we see these are the basic different goals of development. But can we say these are the only goals of development? No. There are other goals. Regular work, better wages, security of job, health atmosphere, liberty, equal treatment, free from any discrimination. See, regular work. A person always wants to have a permanent job. Why? He wants to have a regular work. Better wages. Whatever we earn, we want to have more and more earning. And that is the impetus to improve ourselves. Better wages. Not only these two things. Security of job. I may earn a lot. Those who are related to share market, you know that you could speculate a lot of money. You can earn a lot of money. On the next day, you can lose a lot of money. So, this ups and downs of earning is not permanent, is not expected. So, a security of job is needed. Health atmosphere. Suppose I am working in a place which is having health hazards. So, I am not satisfied. I will not be feeling comfortable because of this bad or ill health atmosphere. Liberty. I should have the liberty, I should have the equal treatment, I should not be discriminated on caste or gender or creed or any sort of thing. So these are also other goals, and covering all this we can come to the description of development. Now the average income or per capita income. This is per capita income. PCI, the total national income divided by the total population in a year. Total national income. Now the question arises, how the national income will be calculated? Now the sum of all final goods and services produced in a country in a year. Goods and services. Goods are tangible thing, services are intangible thing. Goods, those materialistic thing, services are immaterialistic thing. A teacher is teaching in the class, a doctor is treating his patient. These all are services. You cannot touch them, you cannot see them, you can feel them, you can understand them. So goods and service together produced in a year is called the national income, and it is divided by total population in a year, and this is called the per capita income. Earlier I have said that per capita income is one of the major index of quantitative instrument, and quantitatively when we want to understand the development, that is the only instrument. Now World Bank also refer this instrument as the country's development index. Okay, so you see that in US dollar 12,616 or more per capita income is considered as the rich country, and US dollar 1035 or less, 1035 or less is considered as low income groups. Now the question arises, why not per capita income can be considered as a good index of understanding development? You can see in NCERT book also this statistics is given. We are having two countries, country A and country B, and we are having 5 periods. In these 5 periods, what do you see? That country A is having the income 9,500, 10,500, 9,800, 10,000 and 10,200. The average is 10,000. It may be difficult to understand, 10,000. Okay. And in country B, stage 1 500, stage 2 500, 3, 4 following the same, and in stage 5 it is seen that it is 48,100. A giant jump after 4th year, and as a result also we see the average is 10,000. So come to a very common thing. You are very good at mathematics, you are very good at Sanskrit, you are very poor in English, you are very poor in social science, you are very poor in science. Another boy who is neither extremely good in mathematics nor extremely bad in English. Therefore, his result is consistent, and your result is not giving the consistency. Here in case of country B, we see the same situation, that it is having the average 10,000, same as country A, but we cannot conclude that country B's condition is better than country A, because most of the people are under the category of even 1,000. Okay, so when something is concentrated into fewer hands, it gives birth to more and more inequality of distribution of resources, inequality of income, and when these things happen, automatically there will be different sort of discriminations, rich and poor, upper lower income group, gender biasness, caste biasness, and etc. Okay, so in this way we see that the goals, unless all these goals are achieved, we cannot consider that country as developed one. So with this we are, I hope we understand the difference between growth and development. Once again I am recapitulating up to this, that growth is the sustained rise in per capita income, whereas development is the qualitative as well as quantitative aspects of the economic variables. Qualitative aspects are the health status, like life expectancy at birth, the infant mortality rate, fertility rate, this kind of thing, and education indexes, gross enrollment ratio, literacy rate, net attendance ratio, all these things. So with this we are understanding that development is a altogether process. It comprises of, we can say that, a mix of goals. Neither it is tilted towards the quantitative measure, nor it is tilted towards the qualitative measures. So it's an amalgamation of both the two things. Now some small definitions. Okay, it is already given in your notes that infant mortality rate, the number of children died before reaching age 1 per thousand in a year. IMR, infant mortality rate, but mortality rate, the number of persons died per thousand in a year. So infant mortality rate, that means before reaching age 1. Second thing, net attendance ratio, the total number of children of age group 6 to 10 attending school as a percentage of total number of children in the same age group. This age group is very important, 6 to 10. MCQ questions often come. So net attendance ratio comprising of 6 to 10 years of age, whether they are going to school, they are attending school or not, net attendance ratio. Now the sex ratio, we know that the number of female per thousand male. Now we are coming to a very important thing, body mass index. When we consider the weight of a person in kilogram and which is divided by the height in meter square, weight by height in meter square, that is called the body mass index. If this body mass index is below 18.5, the child is called undernourished, and if it is above 25, it is called overweight or obese. এই পর্যন্ত করে